Hey everyone, you are tuning into the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for The Voice. We have a very special guest, Season 9 finalist here tonight with us, so make sure you stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for The Voice, Season 11, Blind Auditions 5 and 6. As I said, we have a very special guest in studio with us tonight. His name is Jeffery Austin. He was a Season 9 finalist, Team Gwen of The Voice. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Round of applause. I'm your host, as usual. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dani Golub. And where can they find you?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Jeffery Austin.
All right, so we're going to spend the first little portion of tonight's show talking about what Jeffrey's been up to since Season 9, just 2 seasons ago of The Voice. He was on Team Gwen, as I mentioned, made it all the way to the finals, which is a huge deal. I mean, you can definitely empathize with what these artists are going through.
Yes.
As we were watching the blind auditions tonight, I was like, I would probably throw up, and he's like, yeah, no, it is really intense.
Yeah.
That whole experience of just being on stage in front of those 4 coaches must be unbelievable.
Right.
What was that experience like for you? Because like you said in your blind audition, you had kind of taken a lot of time off music.
Yeah, so it had been 6 years, really since high school, that I had performed at all. The last time I performed was my senior high school musical when I was 18. And so then come on this one of the biggest stages on TV, really, for an aspiring singer was a little daunting, and it took a little shaking off of the dust throughout the first few rounds of the competition, but ultimately it started my career. I'm a full-time musician now. I wasn't before. I wasn't doing anything like music, so now I'm able to do my dreams as being a full-time musician, so I'm so thankful and grateful for the experience.
What got you to get on that stage and get up there after 6 years? Like, was there a moment where you were like, you know what, I have to change my life, I have to do what I want to do?
Kind of. I mean, I was working at a PR company, and it's Edelman, it's a big one, and was doing work for these big brands, and I loved my team, and I had some really good friends, and I loved living in New York, and so I kind of saw myself, getting settled and being on a career path, and realized that I hadn't, tried to go for my dream yet, and which was singing. So I was like, you got to try it before you're too settled, you're too entrenched in this, career path. And so I saw the audition was coming. I'd auditioned for American Idol and stuff like back in the day.
Really? I didn't know
when I was
that.
like 18. Declined. And then
I don't know why, because you're incredible, but
it came the show came at the right time in my life.
Right.
I had done all these experiences, and all my life experiences really helped me, I feel like, throughout my experience on the show, so it came at the right time.
what kind of music is your favorite to, cover and write of your own? Because I know on the show you did covers of Sam Smith, and a lot of people compared your voice to his, and you did James Bay, and some of those songs on YouTube have, millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
What's your favorite genre, kind of?
I love pop soul music. I'm just a big pop guy. And like unabashedly so, I love pop music, and I grew up listening to Motown. That's all the stuff that my mom was constantly playing, Motown, Whitney Houston, and all that kind of stuff. And so, it's infused into my love of pop. So pop soul, really, a lot of the stuff that I did on the show is music that I would like to release. It was songs and arrangements that I would want to have as my own music. So that was kind of my big thing on the show.
Right, and a lot of the music that you covered is very similar to the music that now you are writing on your own.
Yes.
Which he has a single coming out October 14th called Only You, and I do believe we have a bit of a tease of it tonight.
Yes, we do.
A sneak world premiere of his new single. So if we want to get that queued up, that would be amazing. I listened to it today 3 times, and it is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
I'm proud of it, and it's not even my music. So we're listening to it now.
I know all your lies, all your games. I smell despair on your neck. Tastes like red wine and regret.
Yeah, so this song is Only You. It's coming out on iTunes and Spotify, wherever music's sold, October 14th. And, it's the first song that I've written entirely by myself. I've done a lot of co-writes, since the show, learning how to write a song. And it really took me sitting down at the piano by myself, writing out the chords, writing out the lyrics to say what I finally, wanted to say about this past relationship and kind of close that chapter. So I'm really proud of it. It's something that I've wanted to say in music for years now, even before I was pursuing music. So I'm really happy that this is the first song that I'm going to be releasing, on iTunes and out for the public.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. I can't wait to buy it myself. It's amazing. Is there anyone in music that you specifically look up to?
I have always, been a John Mayer fan. My favorite album is Continuum, and, he's such an instrumentalist and has such a mindset of an instrumentalist before being a singer-songwriter, I feel like. And so I love that kind of, blend of music, and he's got soul and pop in it. And so that's just what I've grown up loving. I grew up also listening to Maroon 5 too.
Classic. How can you not?
That kind of stuff. So there's tons of people. I mean, Adele, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, the usual. But John Mayer is like
classics.
my guy. Yeah.
What advice do you have for someone who kind of maybe sitting at their desk right now watching this, thinking, I want to pursue my dream, whether that be music or anything, in the more creative field?
Yeah, the thing I always say about that, to anyone who's scared about, whether it's auditioning for The Voice, which is dramatic for someone to, want to do that all the time, but anything you're doing in life, whether it's a creative thing or even just like going for a job or moving to a town you've always wanted to live in, the only way to like be 100% sure that you're going to be let down is to not do it and not try. That's the only way you can't get on The Voice for sure, is not trying.
Totally.
So I think you always try, and that's my motto with everything, is do everything that you want to do, so you don't feel terrible later down the road. You're sitting at home watching TV and you're like, why didn't I do this?
Yeah, like that could be me. Yeah, no regrets, that's for sure. Well, let's get started into tonight's episode. As we said, you auditioned, you went through this, you did these blind auditions, so you can definitely feel what these acts were feeling.
Yeah.
The first act that was up tonight was Whitney and Shannon, the sisters, which you actually compared to Andy and Alex from your season.
Yeah, they were very similar voices as well. I mean, their harmonies they sang kind of the same. It was kind of like the same model that Andy and Alex use, and which was great for them. And it's they've got a cool new sound. I think they've got music coming out too, plugging them.
Yeah. I mean, you all do. You really do. I mean, I think that a lot of the times people forget, but everyone who's been on The Voice has like had some success and has toured and gone on, gone on to write their own music and create EPs, because you guys mostly just do covers. Yeah. Occasionally on The Voice they'll have people do originals, but on your season you didn't.
Yeah. Usually they do it. The only way that you can do it is when the finale, to do those finale like coronation songs. But yeah, so Andy and Alex were awesome. They went right before me, and they're 4-chair turns, and they were so pretty and had all this stuff going for
gorgeous.
them. So I'm actually I was really worried if they got to the live shows, because people were loving them. They were like, I think, some of the most downloaded artists.
Yeah.
In those first 3 rounds.
I was really surprised when they went home. Like, I would be very surprised if Whitney and Shannon go home early on. They're great. They're actually Team Alicia. But as we were talking about before when we were watching, like, Team Alicia is so stacked right now that I don't know how she's going to eliminate people in the battle rounds. It's going to be rough. Some really talented people are going to be going home.
That's the problem with these battle rounds, especially you don't know when they're going in the process, whether their steel is available or not. And really good people go home when they shouldn't.
Yeah, it's tough.
If they had been on other teams. So we'll see. I think that, being the duo thing, they've got, some momentum to, really take them either from a steal or to win the battle to the knockouts at the very least. So
yeah, they'll be interesting to watch. They did the landslide Dixie Chicks cover. So I didn't know, like, they before said they wanted Blake, but like you said, they never end up going with who they say they're going to go with before. They like to
It's one of those voice things.
Yeah, I think you were like, oh, I might do Adam, and then Gwen and you were just like soulmates, I feel like.
Well, I didn't really have much of a choice.
You didn't have much of a choice, but I feel like it was fate because Gwen like took you to the very end. You were like her go-to guy. I feel like
it worked out. It the right person turned around.
Totally. Next up was Johnny Rez. He did Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. Adam and Blake turned around. I remember like enjoying this cover when I heard him start.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite song choice of all time because
it's a little trite.
Yeah, everyone's heard it, and it's really overdone. done. But I think that he has a nice, interesting voice. It'll be interesting to see, who he goes up against in the battles, because it's a little bit softer of a voice, and it's not. And those battles and knockouts, you really kind of are going balls to the wall with your voice and your vocals. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, it's always really interesting to see who they put against who. And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, why would you ever put those two people next to each other? Like, how could you ever eliminate one of them? I'm sure they don't always get the most say in all of that because they want to make good TV at the same time. So it's definitely tough. The next act tonight was Mae Thomas. She was like kind of punk rock. Yeah. She sang Roses. I didn't necessarily love this song choice. I'm excited to see what else she does. She was on she ended up choosing Miley.
Yeah. I think Miley said something really important, is that she didn't love that it was such a current song, that because it was a little obvious, I think, is what she was getting at. And seeing something simple and more focusing on her sweet voice, I think would be cool. I think it's a perfect match. I actually think that if Gwen was on, like, they would have been like,
oh, totally,
she would have been the team Gwen.
That's actually Gwen would have loved her. Yeah. I agree with that a lot. I think that Miley will pick some cool songs for her, and I'm excited to see what else she does rather than just a very pop contemporary song. Next up was Johnny Hayes. He actually got no chair turns, unfortunately. Yeah. There's always a couple, and even like I say every week with this show, like they're still very talented. Yeah.
To get to the blind auditions, you're only 100 people, and it's out of 40,000 people or so.
Yeah, everyone is
so
talented.
Good to get there.
Totally. Next up was Courtney Harrell. She sang Let It Go, which was my favorite cover of Jeffrey's when he was on the show. I literally listened to it still all the time in my car. So I was like a little biased, like, how could you do that? But she did a great job at covering it, and she's on Team Blake. What did you think?
That's actually probably one of the hardest songs I sang on the show, and it's not like I did anything obscenely vocal with it, but it's just all in a certain spot of your register, and it's really difficult to sing the entire song through. So I think, anyone taking on that song, it's a great moment it's a great challenge vocally, but it's also a great challenge to, emote and really connect with the audience, which is so crucial at these initial rounds of The Voice.
Yeah, the audience gets revved up and cheers, and that really helps you.
And even the audience at home, like, this is the time where most connections are made. Like, the majority of your followers are usually gained at this point in the competition.
Because people love The Voice for the blind auditions, because it's like what makes the show unique. Yeah, I know a lot of people who watch the blind auditions and then like come back for the end. You know, like they don't always all watch the battles and the knockouts and whatnot. But yeah, she was great. I'm excited to see, what she does on Team Blake. I love when Blake gets someone that's not country. So.
Yeah, and she's a songwriter, and she's written for incredible people. So I think she'll have some really good, unique takes on songs, and she has that songwriter mindset and can create melodies and moments. So I think it'll be nice to see on the show.
I love when people like that get to come to the forefront too. Like people that have been working for other people now get their moment to shine. Next up was Kylie Rothfield. She sang Wherever I Go by One Republic, another kind of contemporary song. I think that it's like better when you leave a song like a year or two to sing it on a blind audition, but this is still on the radio.
It's hard to do it, and especially when this was filmed, like that song was probably just coming out,
Yeah, like and it's still on the radio all the time.
It's still in circulation, so it's that's a hard one to do. She had a nice flip to it, actually, I think, and she
when you can make it your own,
it was kind of nice to see. So we'll see what happens with her.
She had Alicia and Blake turn around, and we were talking about this. I feel like Alicia has such a high retention or like acceptance rate. Yeah. When she turns, there have only been a couple where she hasn't gotten someone when she's turned.
I feel like it'd be hard to say no to her because a lot of her pitches, other than the fact that it's Alicia Keys and she's incredible at what she is and that's who she is, but most of those coaches are all incredible. Totally. So for her, but her pitches are so like connected and she stands up
and like you get it with her.
And she like is looking at you and it's like I feel like it'd be hard to deny.
I feel like she looks into your soul.
Yeah, she really does.
I don't think I could say no to her, but then again, I don't think I could say no to any of them.
Yeah, I don't think I'd say no to anything.
Luckily, you never had to do that.
I know.
That was the sugar coating on that situation. There's always a silver lining. You didn't have to disappoint anyone.
That's true.
And you never got, like, it was like never like you were bounced around, which sometimes I feel like could be like kind of jarring restarting, but like once you were on a team, I feel like it's nice to like be with that same coach all the way through.
For sure.
You create a nice relationship.
You get the most time to connect, and the people, they'll fight for you more probably if you've been on their team longer.
Well, yeah, towards the end, Gwen was like begging people to vote. You know what I mean? And like when she has that relationship with you.
I mean, in all honesty, the coaches, like they meet a lot of contestants. I mean, a lot of these have been on it, and it's not like you know, the 1 hour that you get with them, they're going to remember you for the rest of your life. So as much time as you get with them to connect is crucial, because they really do start to care about you as time goes on, and, you know, you're growing their relationship with them, and that can't start like at the drop of a hat. You know?
Right. And I think it was nice for you and Gwen in specific, because she was a new coach and you were, you know, like everyone knew, contestant. And so it was like nice that she only did 1 season.
She did 2.
She did 2. Oh, so you were her 2nd season.
Yeah, she was on 2 seasons, but
she did 2 seasons. But still, it's like just, I mean, with Blake and Adam, they've done so many that it's like you're one of, you know, 2 for her that went to the finals. I actually don't know if she had a finalist.
I was the only one,
yeah. So you were the only one of hers to make it to the finals. So like that is a special bond that you have with that person.
Yeah, for sure. And it was an interesting year of both of our lives. So I think we were both connected, and she was very connected to the entire experience of The Voice. Yeah. Because of everything she's been through. So.
And she picked amazing songs for you. You know what I mean? Like music that like was emotional and that people could connect with. And
we had a good rapport.
So much of this show, though, like as much as you need to tune in and vote, you need to buy the music. And I don't even know if people always realize that, but like whenever I am watching this and I'm thinking about the artist, I go, would I buy this in the car to listen to on the way home? And like I think that's a true tell of whether or not I think this person's gonna go far. Like after your Lay Me Down audition, I was like, I need this, I need this version of the song, like, which is very telling of why you ended up in the final. Same with Jordan's cover of Chandelier. It's the same thing.
I was always thinking that was the most important thing to me, especially when the live rounds where the votes are based a lot. I mean, it's a small portion of the votes actually, but it's a portion of the votes nonetheless, and it's what the public are seeing are the charts.
Yeah, and you have to be in the top 10 to get like.
And so I always thought, you know, what is it going to take for someone to download this version of their song? It's a cover. They already have the song. So what's going to make it different that they want my version of the song, or what's going to make it different from other versions that they've heard of it?
Yeah, and I think it's also like the song choice in that case is really specific to you. You have to be very careful with what song you choose, and has everyone done this before, or you know, like because with all the singing shows and with all the competition shows, like not just singing, like America's Got Talent, The Voice, the American Idol was still on when you were on air. Like you have to pick a song that not everyone's done 100 times.
Yeah, I was adamant. I mean, there was a few songs that have been like done a few different times, but I was adamant for sure that most of my songs were not done on The Voice before me.
That's important.
I was really, I mean, it ended up, a couple of them were just because it is what it is. But
there's only so many songs.
There's only so many songs that you can do.
Until you start writing your own.
I know.
There you go.
So that was a big thing for me, because I didn't want the moments to be anyone else's moments. I didn't want to be capitalizing on anyone else's.
Yeah. I think that that's really valid, because like you said, like there's only so many versions of the same song that so many people want.
Exactly.
You know? Next up was a special, I would say, audition. Natasha Burr, Candace Cameron Burr. Am I saying her last name right?
Burr?
Burr? Burr probably.
Yeah.
Natasha Burr, who is Candace Cameron Burr, I'm sorry, from Full House, Fuller House. Her daughter. I looked her up before she went on, and I was like, why does she have so many followers? Like, who is this girl?
Who is this?
I was like, is she about to be like the winner of the show? I was so confused, and then I realized when they, you know, showed her mom, I was like, I see. She I thought she was really good. I was surprised. She's really, really young. She just graduated high school and is like taking this year to kind of pursue music and see how it goes for her.
She had some nerves.
They said that.
It's inevitable. I mean, there's very few people that aren't nervous in that situation, but she was doing a little too much, and it's hard to do because you're in the blind, so you want to get as much as you can into that 90-second song and do as many moments as possible, but there's a fine line that you walk between doing too much and losing, you know, the integrity of the song.
Like
and the coaches hear that, and they will think that they're doing too much, and they will get lost, and they will start thinking less about, oh, this girl has an interesting voice, and more about they're doing too much with their voice.
It's interesting because you even said when we were talking before the show about your blind audition, you're like, it's interesting that Gwen turned when I knew she was going to turn.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you strategically then chose a song where you knew what moments were going to hit home.
Yeah, you set up your moments, and you know, there's like a amount of moments that you probably will set up, and like these are moments like these where they can turn. Yeah. And so Gwen turned at the first moment that I thought anyone may turn.
Right.
And which I was glad, because I was relieved.
A little bit of relief.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the show, I did it.
Yeah, so that's what she was probably doing. Likely is doing a bunch of moments to get people to turn.
To like hooks, kind of.
It's hard to keep the integrity of a song when you're,
trying to sell it.
Like, you're trying to sell yourself, and all you can do.
Interesting. Well, she's on Team Adam, which I think is great. I think Adam has like a really good group, and for some reason I kind of didn't remember all of the talent that Adam had on his team until they re-showed us them tonight.
I know that he's got a lot of great people.
He really does. He has Billy. He has Nolan from last week. He has some four-chair turns, which is great because I feel like the first few episodes of the Blind Auditions, they were like kind of going really hard on Adam, the other coaches. Like it was almost too much. So I was worried that his team wasn't going to be as strong as it usually is, but tonight kind of solidified his good group. I think
he's got a good group, and you know, some people that are very much what he succeeds with. So.
Yeah. I feel like his team is all kind of good fits for him. Next up was Nick, who sang Got the Music in Me. He did like his own rendition of it. He unfortunately did not get any chair turns.
No. Wasn't a great song choice.
Yeah, and it's interesting because
he's got a good voice.
Yeah, Miley had him sing something else after.
My guy,
and it was so much better. I sometimes wonder.
That happens.
It happens because they don't always get full control over what they're going to be singing, or and I just think that if he had a different song, I feel like that a lot actually with some of the people that don't make it through.
Yeah.
And often they come back and sing something different, like Nolan did. And her name was Caroline. Was she on?
Caroline Burns. She was on my season.
She was on your season.
Last season. Yeah.
She was on your season and didn't make it through. And then last season she made it pretty far.
Yeah.
I think like to the right after the knockout.
She made it to top 24. Yeah.
Yeah. So someone like her who was weaker in her first audition and then came back. So I feel like maybe someone like Nick can come back with a better choice of song and
they've been highlighting a lot of gay artists on this season,
which is great.
I think is great. As they've never shied away from it, but it just seems like this season there's one every episode, and I think it's so important for kids watching at home. I was growing up on American Idol back in the day, where Adam Lambert didn't even come out publicly
it wasn't very
until
open,
after the show, and so I was always wondering, could I go on one of these shows and be who I am and open in about my life? And so I think it's great to see these kinds of stories highlighted. They've always, I didn't ever have to not tell anyone. Everyone knew. I mean, I sang a Cher song on the show, so everyone knew. Everyone knew. But it's nice to see it highlighted.
It's important to see any minority group in the spotlight on a show.
Absolutely.
And because I think, like you said, with kids watching the show, this is a very family-friendly show, and I think it sparks good conversations for families watching this together. And there is no normal-looking family anymore.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see, because they do it on a lot of scripted TV, but this is reality. This is the real world. This is what is the situation, so it's nice to see that put in the forefront
for sure
of a show like this, especially a show like this that gets millions and millions of viewers every week.
And people from all over the country
that's true
are seeing it. There's communities that may not be so open
I forget his name. The artist who was last week, he was from a very small town in the middle of the country that he said, wasn't very accepting, and he moved to Texas, and he was able to become more comfortable with his sexuality, and then he was able to then express himself through his music, which I think is such a beautiful thing, to be able to be comfortable with yourself, to be able to do what you love.
Yeah, and someone at home is going to see that, and it's going to change their life.
100%.
So it's really important.
I mean, even on a different reality show, America's Got Talent, which I also do the after show for, Brian Justin Crum, who was just on this, he changed lives.
Yeah.
He's an amazing singer, and he, had a lot of struggles of his own, and so someone like that on all of these shows, it's really, really nice to see, positive images of all different kinds of people.
Yeah.
It's great. And then we had Blaine. He sang Have a Little Faith in Me. He had Adam, Blake, and Miley turn.
Yeah.
I was hitting my personal button way before the coaches were.
He had such a nice color to his voice. It's such a good tone. It looks like he might be a little older, but his voice does sound younger.
Yeah,
and
he's really
talented.
Country,
he can be whatever age. That's the nice thing about country.
Yeah, that is true.
You can, pop music, there's a time limit, unfortunately, but with country music,
unless you're Sia and you can cover your face.
That's true. But
everyone's different these days.
Yeah. So I think he was really great, and he seems like a very seasoned musician, and those usually get along great with Blake.
Yeah, especially I feel like he chose the right coach for him.
Yeah,
but,
if he has good songs, I feel like he can get to the lives, and then he'll probably have a good time.
Yeah, a lot of people like that do really well with America. You know what I mean?
Sure.
When people can start voting for them. I liked his cover of the song. It was very nice. It was soothing. It was clean.
It wasn't over the top either.
You
can go really gospel and over the top with that song, and he kind of
And to get 3 chair turns is huge. They've been very limited with their 4 chair turns.
Okay, on my season,
it was like every other.
It was every other person. And then last season there was less, but this season for sure.
Really reserved.
Yeah.
There was an episode, I think 2 ago, where there were actually no 4-chair turns in the entire episode.
Which is strange, because The Voice loves the 4-chair turn.
They do. I'm surprised they didn't edit them around.
I think it might be the new coaches. I think Miley's been a little more tentative and hesitant.
They're not
she's a little nervous.
hit happy.
Yeah. So, she's not they're looking for different things. So
Totally.
I think it's nice because no one's, getting all that hype.
Yeah, we talked about this. I feel like in past seasons, like Allison Porter and Jordan Smith specifically stand out in my mind, and Sawyer, as people who, from the blind audition, from the moment you saw them, you were kind of like, this person is probably going to win this show, just based off like their audition went viral, like everything,
Absolutely.
So it kind of, can make maybe people vote less or tune in less, and I feel like this season is really going to be a good competition, because it's kind of an even playing field, and every team has its really strong players.
Yeah.
There are a couple that I think are like the standouts, but I don't think anyone is like the obvious one.
Yeah, there's totally room to grow, and I think that's what's really important. What people really like about this show is seeing the progress of from where they start, of someone, I don't know if they're going to win, and to see someone start to emerge,
Totally.
Come in the live rounds as someone who's really starting to gun for the finale and maybe knock out someone who is the obvious favorite. People really love getting behind those people, and that's
the underdog.
Yeah, that's the strategy a lot of people use. That was trying to be my strategy.
Hey, it got you to the finals. That's a pretty good strategy, if you ask me.
For sure, and I think
not many people can say they've been a finalist on The Voice. Like, let's be real. That's a strategy. That
more and more people every month it seems like can. But
hey, like you said, to even get to the auditions,
it's incredible, and I think it's such a long game to be playing.
It is. You perform so many times on The Voice, whereas I was on America's Got Talent, they actually only have 4 to 5 performances depending on if they get a golden buzzer or not.
Yeah.
Whereas on The Voice, I feel like you guys are singing like 100 times a week.
Yeah.
And like you sometimes do more than one song when you sing with your coach, and then when you sing with your team, and then you sing by yourself. It's like, this is a lot of music to learn. Like, and a lot of pressure, and like America's watching at all times, not just when you're doing your solo.
I know. I think in the finale I sang 7 songs.
Yeah, it's insane. And you sang with Gwen, which, I mean, how was that? That must have been insane.
It was nuts. I mean, I'd sang with her before for a team performance that we did earlier on in the live rounds, but to do the one-on-one and connect, and really, she's such a great performer, and she's
you have that
really
now forever.
Emotional and connected in her songs. So it was fun to see, and she was awesome. So it was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that you could take away from an experience like that. Like, I feel like when you're in it and you're living it, I feel like you're in a dream probably every day.
Yeah, for sure.
And
it feels like another life that I lived.
Yeah, it's crazy though, but at the same time, like, no one can take that back from you. Like, you have a solid foundation in this industry now where, like, moving forward, people will always know that you were on this show that's very critical. I mean, it's won Emmys every year. You know what I mean? It's a very critically acclaimed show to the point where, like, they're not taking people that aren't talented.
Right.
So, like I said, it's a impressive feat. But next up was, I'm gonna botch his name, Ponciano.
Ponciano. Yeah, that was it.
I believe that's right. He sang "Home" by Philip Phillips, and I loved his voice right from the get-go.
I loved it. We were
fangirling a little bit.
And he actually kind of perked us up, I think.
Did.
I mean, not that anyone else wasn't as great, but or that he didn't do, it wasn't some overly spectacular, like, momentous, emotional thing. It was just, like, a nice voice to listen to. It was something that I could hear on the radio. And
soothing.
And I think that he's got a great look, and, like, people could really get behind him. So depending on, the songs he picks the next couple rounds, and if he gets the chance to get to America's vote, I think he's very marketable.
I think that, personally, I think he was my favorite of the night. I
agree.
He was definitely, like, up there for me. I think that out of all of these acts or performances tonight, I would say that this was the one that I probably would want to go purchase.
For sure.
Which I know that they actually start calculating now. Like, if you start purchasing now, I think that those do count somewhere down the line. They don't?
They don't. Well,
in the finals,
it's
right?
a cumulative vote in the finals, but it starts from the live rounds.
It starts from the live rounds. Okay, so these ones don't count. Well, you could still buy it if you want to.
You should.
I still might. It was a great, great cover of that song. And, that's such a good song, and so many people know it that it may be hard to cover, but he definitely made it his own. And
his
I
voice
really
stood out, and I wasn't even thinking of, that's a huge hit, and I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, it was great. And then the last one of the night was Josette, and she sang "Love Yourself," which, again, a big, big hit to cover.
Yeah.
But at this point, all the other teams were full, so
Yeah.
her only real option was Miley, and I think that was probably the perfect fit for her.
I think that's probably who she probably would have gone with.
Exactly.
Either way.
I mean, she nearly was in tears when she saw
Yeah.
Miley turn around for her.
I mean, I think it was an awesome song choice. I don't think it's been done on that show,
I don't think it has either.
which is great.
I actually don't think it's been done.
It was on American Idol.
It was okay. Yeah, it hasn't. It wasn't on AGT, and it hasn't been on The Voice.
Yeah, so it was.
Idol.
I think it was a great song. She sounded really nice. She had a different voice.
She played guitar.
She played guitar, and I think it was really good. I think she's gonna do well.
Miley has like a female powerhouse
Yeah.
team. She has like a couple guys, but like she is like femme fatale on her team right now.
And sometimes the people that go to the last one, like the last slot, like yes, they only get one chair, but a lot of like Miley was saying, like Blake was telling me to turn around. Alicia would have turned around. Like she may have very well gotten a fourth turn if she'd gotten the very first. So,
but
you never know how they're gonna do.
And the way that it's like kind of a lottery who gets to go towards the beginning and who gets to go. They have no control over that as artists. So,
right.
So she was a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited to see what Miley does with her. Or like girl band that she has right now of like powerful women on her team.
Yes, she does.
And Alicia's team, I think, is gonna. I personally think she could take this year. What do you think?
I mean, I've gotten some like scoop knowledge that she probably has the stronger team. I don't know actually who's on it, so we'll be able to see. But I've heard that she has one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest team, going into the live round. So I'm excited to see, especially since she's a new coach. Female power.
Yeah.
She's very good. I didn't expect her to be
we were
as
saying
good.
this.
I thought she was going to be a little bit more reserved.
I mean,
she's been really open and connected.
When I first saw her in the blind auditions, I thought she was going to be more like Pharrell. Pharrell barely spoke, but he spoke when he did, it was very powerful. Alicia's been like getting up and fighting and singing with people like more than I expected. I thought she'd be a little bit more reserved. Oh, she's here to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing. Blake's team has a lot of strong country artists as usual, but he also has like some like soulful R&B kind of singers on his team, which I think is sometimes a smart choice to go on Blake's team because you're gonna. Was Paxton on Blake's team?
Yeah.
I think he was, and that was smart choice for Paxton because it was like he was the one of a kind on Blake's team, whereas if that was on Pharrell's team, he probably wouldn't have made it as far.
I know, and it's an interesting strategy, and I mean, you can only have so much strategy.
I mean, in that moment, you're kind of like.
And even going forward, like as a contestant, like it's really out of your hands.
You're tossed around a bit.
Yeah, you could do the best performance of your life, and they could send you home. So you never know.
Yep.
How the
or
coaches
America
feel at the
could,
moment. Yeah, America could too. So it's a little bit out of your hands. You do as much as you can, but when you do have a little moment to take some strategy into it, I always say to go for it.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a smart move.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, so from the blind auditions as a whole, do you have like a standout favorite from? I would say for me, it's probably Darby from on Team Miley.
You like Darby?
I loved that cover. I love her. I love I think she's the full package. I think she's like a young female powerhouse. I think she's going to go really far. Is there anyone that like really stood out to you now that this is the end of the blinds?
There was the guy who looked like John Mayer on Adam's team.
Yes,
that I love.
He's great.
He's so cute, and he was great.
He was really, really good.
And then I liked Darby. Way is a great singer.
Right,
Allie
she's Team
Caldwell
Alicia.
Was a great singer.
Allie's on Miley.
I think Nolan will probably be in it to win it.
I agree. I think he's going to be really far.
I think he should have made it last season, but I think it's great that he's on this season.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think if I was to pick anyone, I mean, Billy Gilman's going to have some hype, and he had a great audition, but I really think if I'm going to pick anyone to go to the finale right now at this moment, it's going to be Nolan.
I think that's a pretty good prediction. And that cover of Tiny Dancer was amazing. I mean, there are certain people that I get wary about cover. Like, do you cover Elton John? I don't know.
I never wanted to.
Yeah.
I was suggested to do
really?
a couple of them, and I never wanted
he's a legend, and that's like, there are some people I say you don't touch, and he did it, and he made it his own, which I think is the only way you can cover a song like that.
Yeah. So the thing with those songs is like it's either you're going to do it and you're going to fall flat to the original, or you're going to do it and you're going to recapture some of the magic of the original.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
true.
that's what he did.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Well, that is kind of all we have for tonight's episode. Again, your song, it's a single. It's coming out
it's
October
my first
14th.
of 3 singles coming out this fall and probably next winter. So Only You coming out October 14th.
You guys heard a bit of it here tonight.
Yes.
You heard it here first, kids.
Yes, you
It's
did.
amazing. I listened to the whole thing today, and it is off the charts. You guys have to buy it. We're playing a little bit more of it again, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
I love
That's
it.
me.
I love it. I love the style. I love everything about it. It tells a story. It's really, really a beautiful song. I think everyone can connect with this kind of music, no matter what you've been through. Like relationships, ups and downs in your life, no matter what. Like this is like a song that really hits home, pulls on the heartstrings.
Good.
But yeah, it's been amazing having you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. This has been so fun.
This has been great. It's really nice to have like an inside scoop on what goes on and what it feels like to
Happy to give it to you.
be up on the stage. I can't even imagine. But yeah, thank you again so much. Where can everyone find you on Twitter and Instagram if they want to?
At Jeffery Austin, Jeffery Austin.
ERY, yeah. No typos, please. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dani Golub. It has been so fun having you guys watch. We will be back next week with more of the Voice After Show. We'll see you next time.
You lied to me, said you died for me, your words, they never
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.